Bakugan Project has received a huge update and I'm pretty late to get this out there, but hopefully another update will be coming soon, which means more content for you guys to watch. But before I get into the update, I would like to get one of the most asked questions out of the way and hopefully clarify this for everyone. There is currently no release date planned for this game and most likely won't come out for a while. Games take a long time to make and every update that is made also comes with its fair share of bugs. You also have to keep in mind that this game barely entered the beta stages in November, so it hasn't even been available to all the testers for that long. So with this information available to everyone, now if you really don't think you can wait for the release, then the only way to get in right now is to purchase the Patreon membership, which I leave in the description down below for every video. And just to be clear, I get nothing out of this, I'm just letting you guys know right now that this is the only way to play Bakugan. As you can see, I'm a Vexos member, so I pay for the game too, and all the money we spend goes right back into developing the game. Another thing I need to mention is only the Vexos and top brawlers currently have access. I believe it'll be like that till the next update, so if you want to wait till then, hit the subscribe button and I'll keep you updated to the best of my ability. Now that we have that out of the way, in my opinion the best thing added in the update has to be the tournament system. There are currently 1v1, 2v2s, and 3v3 tournaments that take place. I don't know what the cooldown is between tournaments, but they do seem to start up quickly. I'd say there's around a 10-minute window between them if I had to guess. I know the 1v1 tournament winner gets 5,000 HSP. As for the 2v2 and 3v3 tournaments, I don't know if it's the same or more. That's only because most of the time I didn't have anyone to team up with, or not enough people entered, so I mainly stuck with the 1v1s. But the tournaments are a good way to test your skills against other players to see how you stack up against the rest of the community. Another important addition is being able to 1v1, 2v2, or 3v3 any NPC. Before, the only 2v2 you could do was against Jenny and Jules, and 3v3s were limited to Julio, Klaus, and Chan Li. So with this being added in, it spices up the overall experience you have when battling NPCs. Every AI brawler has new decks to use as well. They all have one main Bakugan, then we'll get two randomly generated Bakugan to go with it. This also makes battling NPCs more tolerable, seeing them use different strategies when they get different Bakugan. Most of the time I did see them getting the same Bakugan back to back, but it did change from time to time. It's not perfect, but I'm pretty sure it'll get improved upon as the updates continue to release. Along with the deck changes, I'm also going to be going over the new NPCs added in this update, while also giving everyone some insight of who these characters are if you never watched the original show and grew up on the reboots. Starting off with Shuji's little brother Akira, who uses the Subterra attribute. His current guardian Bakugan is Serpenoid in Bakugan Project. According to the Bakugan wiki, it was technically Centipoid, but seeing how that isn't in the game yet, I'm assuming Bakudev just put another Bakugan he used in place of it. Akira's first appearance in the anime was the first episode titled Bakugan The Battle Begins. His character was really bland throughout the show, not getting a lot of screen time, and was basically only shown following Shuji around every time he was challenging Dan to another brawl. Next up we have Shuji, who doesn't really have a main attribute since he was always changing it after he would lose in battle to Dan Kuso. He basically thought every attribute he lost with was defective, which led him to using different attributes. The only ones he was never shown using on screen was Aquas and Pyrus. According to the Bakugan wiki, his guardian Bakugan is Fear Ripper, which makes the most sense since it was eventually his strongest Bakugan. Shuji is your typical bully, except he was created in an anime and chose to bully the main character, which never really ends well. I'd honestly like to see Shuji switch attributes in the game every time you beat him in a brawl, since that's basically what he did in the show. Nene was also added in the update and is the little sister of Akira and Shuji. Her first appearance was in episode 25 titled Trust Me. She's a Ventus attribute user, and according to the Bakugan wiki, her guardian Bakugan is Ravenoid. She may look small and childish, but she's actually the best brawler out of the three of them. She was also the one who taught Akira and Shuji how to brawl, which doesn't say much since they're both terrible, but we can't really put the blame on her. She was very full of herself in the anime and thought she was the best battle brawler to ever play. She was eventually proved wrong when she lost to Dan and Runo. Besides that, can we please get the audio fixed in the game?
I can do better than that! Now it's time for the biggest test!
I'm actually fine having her not speak at all if I'm being honest. Rikimaru's first appearance was in episode 3 titled A Feud Between Friends, and was the first brawler recruited by Masquerade to defeat Dan Kuso. He is an Aquas Bakugan brawler, and according to the Bakugan wiki, his guardian Bakugan was Juggernaut and then Siege for reasons I'll get into in a minute. In the anime, he had a huge ego and wasn't actually as good as he thought he was. From what the episode showed, he was just battling little children at the park, beating and taunting them while saying he wanted a challenge. That's when Masquerade recruited him, giving him Aqua's Siege so he could battle Dan. He ended up sending his own Juggernaut and Robotalion to the Doom Dimension with Aqua's Siege Tsunami ability card. After that, Rikimaru and his Siege lost to Dan and Drago in their final standoff, leaving him with no screen time till the last episode for like 10 seconds. Tatsuya was first seen in episode 5 titled Runo Rules. He uses Pyrus Bakugan and his Guardian Bakugan is Fear Ripper. He was recruited by Masquerade to defeat Dan after he lost all of his Bakugan to the Doom Dimension in a battle. He was also another bully ironically and was harassing little kids more than he would actually brawl. He's the type of character that likes to talk more than he actually fights. His screen time was also short-lived after he lost to Runo without even getting the chance to battle Dan. After that, he wasn't seen until the last episode as well, sending his Bakugan back to New Vestroia. Kenji and Kenta are identical twins with the only difference being their hair color and Bakugan attributes. Kenji uses Darkest Bakugan and his Guardian Bakugan is Mantris. Mantris isn't in the game yet sadly, so for his Guardian Bakugan it's just Serpenoid. On the other hand, Kenta uses Pyrus Bakugan and his Guardian Bakugan is Garganoid. He was the one that actually taught his brother Kenji how to play Bakugan. Their first appearance was in episode 6 titled The Combination Battle, where they challenged Dan and Runo to a double battle. They were the perfect duo to go against Dan and Runo, but after Kenta lost the battle, him and Kenji stopped communicating, throwing his strategy right out the window. They both eventually lost to Dan and Runo, leaving them to be cut from the show like the others, until the last episode where you can see them sending their Bakugan back to New Vestroia. That's the last of the new NPCs that were added into the game. Another major addition was the ability to customize your character whenever you want to. It was definitely needed since some of the clothes have holes in the models, or for those of you that just want a different look from time to time. You can basically change your whole appearance except for your gender and main attribute. On top of that, you can now create new slots for any attribute you'd want to use. You just hop in the game and click the plus icon to create a new slot. It's a good way to try out all the different attributes and to see that Darkest has the easiest start out of any attribute. If you'd like to see a video of me using my Darkest slot, let me know in the comments down below. Thanks to Klepto for testing out the new feature. He showed you can always go back and delete your new slot to start over. I would normally say this is cheating, but sometimes the RNG just isn't in your favor and end up with the worst combination of cards and Bakugan. The Wheel of Fortune was also added in the game and you get one daily spin. It's a good idea, but the only fortune you get from this is misfortune. This has been out for a while and every spin I've either gotten money I don't need or random cards in Bakugan for other attributes I don't use. The other thing that makes this wheel useless is you only get one spin to share with all your other slots. In my opinion, it should be separate per slot since it never gives you anything you can actually use, and it will only matter once you can sell or trade in the game. The last major thing left to cover is the new Bakugan added into the game. Sadly, there was only 2 additions this time around, but hopefully the next update we see more added in. The first one I'm going to cover is Cycloid. I've honestly never used Cycloid before in a Bakugan game, and I don't plan on it. But does the addition of Cycloid mean that we'll be getting Billy in the next update? He's the only top brawler left that isn't available to battle in the game. So who knows, maybe we will finally see him in the next update. The other Bakugan that was added you've seen previously throughout the video, with that being Juggernaut. Honestly, nothing too special, but a fun fact is Pyrus Juggernaut was actually the first Bakugan I've ever owned in real life, but even then I have no real attachment to it. His Bakugan design isn't too bad, just a giant turtle, and I actually like the more basic ball design. That was everything added in this past update, and like I said before, hopefully we see the next update soon. I'm not trying to rush Bakudev at all, I'm just excited to see the content we'll be getting in the next update. So as always, if you guys made it this far into the video, don't forget to smash that like button. Also comment down below which attributes or specific Bakugan you'd like to see in the next video. And most importantly, hit that subscribe button and bell notification. It'll inform you guys when I drop videos like these so you can be the first ones to see them. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one.